Hey guys, welcome to the Liberal Hive Mind, a channel solely focused on exposing the abundant hypocrisy of the left. Okay, now this clip, this is panic. That's all I'm gonna say. You can just sense the nerves. It's the typical meme. Democrats 6 months away from election day, or actually I guess 3 months away from election day, considering the undemocratic shenanigans that happened ahead of the DNC in this election season. 3 months ahead of election day, ooh, big strong Sheba. We will win. Donald Trump is over. Orange man Glorf man's reign is finished. And then of course, as we get closer and closer to election day, the big old Sheba gets smaller and smaller and smaller, I guess as reality starts to set in. They go from big tough Sheba to absolute pathetic copium. And I think this clip from CNN with Frank Luntz pretty much distills it perfectly. This right here is panic, no other way to describe it. Absolute frickin' panic. They know exactly what's coming. They're just trying so desperately to spin it. Let me just end the intro there, because honestly the clip is pretty self-explanatory. We got some stuff to get into, so let's roll the tape. Alright folks, so I just want to play this segment from CNN with Frank Luntz. You know, I give the guy a little bit of a hard time, but he's actually pretty good at this stuff. And let's just take a look and see what he has to say.
Almost everyone has made up their minds, and those who haven't, if you're truly undecided, you're probably not going to vote. You probably dislike both candidates. You have an issue with Trump's attitude, with what he says, how he communicates, and who he is as a person. You have an issue with Kamala Harris, in how she answers questions and whether she deals with specifics. And you're basically deciding at this point, I don't like either of them, so I don't want to vote. So the people I'm focused on are the weak supporters. And it only represents 3 or 4% of the country, 3 or 4% of those swing states.
That could be enough, though, in those swing states.
It is enough. It absolutely is enough. It's union members in Pennsylvania, Wisconsin, and Michigan. It's young African-American men in Georgia and North Carolina. It's the Latino vote in Arizona and Nevada. Very specific. And the other question is, will young women who love Kamala Harris, will they actually go out and vote? In past elections, they've shown an interest, and they are definitely more democratic than any age, gender group there are. But they don't participate. I think they're going to vote in record numbers. I think that they're going to be a larger slice of the electorate than any time you've seen, and that's the balance. So I can't call it. Union members, rank and file, are more likely to be with Trump than any Republican in modern times. Same thing with Latino voters, and same thing with young African-American men. But the balance is those young women who can't wait to participate. So what I'm waiting to see is whether Taylor Swift, I'm serious, whether she comes out and does a concert. I think that is a big deal. I think she is as popular today as Oprah Winfrey was when she endorsed Barack Obama. And Oprah's support, active support, made a difference in his race, took votes away from Hillary Clinton, gave them to Obama. Taylor Swift could make a difference in this race.
You know, you can sense it. I don't think he wants to say it. He doesn't want to present the reality that Kamala Harris isn't exactly performing well, but he kind of alluded to it with his body language now, didn't he? Can Kamala Harris win? Well, you know, maybe. She just has to undo the last 2.5 months of damage. In the next 14 days, she needs to win over voters and explain where she is and what she stands for as a candidate. And she's going to need to bring in the big guns. And that's hopefully doing a concert with Taylor Swift to motivate all the young girls to come out and slay out the polls. I mean, how incredibly pathetic is that? The only way Kamala Harris can win this election is by leaning on celebrities. First of all, how cringe, and secondly, is that really going to make a difference? That's all Kamala Harris has done this entire time. She just wrapped up a rally that we keep talking about, where she stood on the stage for 6 minutes, then left and Lizzo took over. And of course, we all remember her big jump on the scene as Joe Biden dropped out of the race, where she held a rally that was really a Megan Thee Stallion concert. Recently, she brought out Usher, now she's bringing out Eminem in Detroit. Like I keep saying, she's not even the main act. She's been doing this. Hillary Clinton did this. Guess what? Newsflash. It never freaking worked. But now all of a sudden this race isn't over. No, not even close. Kamala Harris has a trick up her sleeve. Give me a break. Honestly, give me a freaking break from this nonsense. It feels like desperation. It feels like copium, trying to speak something into existence. We still got a chance. I'm really not sure they do. And I think Frank Luntz might know that. Frankly, pun not intended, it seems like a lot of people are starting to get it, get the message. I've noticed an interesting trend over the last couple of days, and now it seems the mainstream media is picking up on it. Senate Democrats are running away from Harris in blue wall states. You might not get the headline, but it'll make sense in 2 seconds after I play this clip.
And he sided with Trump to end NAFTA and put tariffs on China to stop them from cheating.
I think it's pretty self-explanatory. There you have Democratic Senate candidate Bob Casey running pro-Trump ads, trying to connect himself to Trump. That's wild, folks. That is completely wild. Frankly, there we go again with the stupid pun, I don't think I've ever seen anything like it. Bob Casey went from, he's a threat to our democracy, to, oh gosh, isn't Trump so fantastic?
It's a threat to our democracy. Some might argue that the threat is even greater today.
And he sided with Trump to end NAFTA and put tariffs on China to stop them from cheating.
And you know, speaking of Bob Casey, I got another clip to show you guys, which I think probably perfectly exemplifies the difference between what the media and what the polls are saying and what's actually happening on the ground. Take a look at this.
Do those numbers match your internal numbers, Senator? Go ahead, tell me more.
I wish they did. Look, polling will bounce around, but we're in a very close race now. We're probably in a 2-point race. In my race, I think Kamala Harris is about close to that. We're very much aligned.
You know, the mainstream media has been running with all these polls suggesting that Kamala Harris is super competitive. This is going to be such a competitive race. But Bob Casey himself essentially blows the lid on the whole thing. The recent Quinnipiac poll that showed him ahead by, 8 points, is not even close to the numbers that his internal polling is giving him. You know, might explain the shift, the panic. All of a sudden, he's a Trump Democrat. How stupid is that? But it certainly explains a lot. You know, it explains the doom and gloom and the attitude shift, the panic coming from the DNC. It's crazy. I mean, what a switch up. And speaking of switch ups, this one might be one for the history books, because now all of a sudden, after campaigning for Kamala Harris for 2 months straight, now even Mark Cuban is starting to switch up. Mark Cuban says that he would be willing to work with the Trump administration if asked. I'm America first. Libercat on Twitter had the best response. Translation, I bet on the wrong horse. You know, you can sense the desperation, you can sense how they're flailing, you can sense how they're failing. And now the analysis is, just like Frank Luntz said it, Kamala Harris has to undo all the damage she did over the last 2.5 months in a matter of 2 weeks. But that, of course, is kind of hard to do when you're not even the main act, the random celebrity that you bring on that day is, and of course, when you're not even really campaigning, you're taking a break.
Everything, and I was going to hit her really hard on the trail today, but now I don't have to because she's off. She's off. No, I can't get over it. Who the hell takes off? We have 14 days left, and she'll take a couple of more days off, too. You know why? She's lazy as hell, and she's got that reputation. She's a radical left lunatic. She's further left than Bernie Sanders or Pocahontas. Now, Pocahontas... Because I think, is Pocahontas further left than Bernie? Just about, right? It's close. It's close. Who the hell cares, right? Rick says, I don't know. But they're out there. But she's furthest left. We can't have a person. She's a Marxist.
14 days left, and Kamala Harris takes the day off. The campaign called a lid. I'm getting Biden campaign flashbacks. But of course, I'm just sitting here hoping for a different final result. Anyways, that's pretty much what I got for you guys. Hopefully you enjoyed it. If you did, make sure to leave a like and possibly subscribe to the channel. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you on the next one.